Welcome. Consider subscribing to the Marita channel. Today we'll be talking about student visa and how to apply. You can apply for a student visa to study in the UK if you are above 16 and you have been offered a place on a course by a licensed student sponsor, have enough money to support yourself and pay for your course. The amount will vary depending on your circumstances. If you can speak, read, understand, and write English, if you have consent from your parents and you're above 17, you will need evidence of this to apply. If you are above 18 or at least 17, want to study in an international independent school in the UK, you may be eligible for a child student visa instead. This visa has been replaced by a Tier 4 general student visa. When you can apply for this visa, it depends on whether you are applying from the inside or the outside of the UK. Applying from outside the UK, the earlier you can apply for the visa in 6 months before you start your course, the better. The earliest, however, that you can apply, you'll usually get a decision on your visa within 3 weeks. Applying from inside the UK, the earliest you can apply is 3 months before your course starts. You must apply before your current visa expires. Your new course must begin within 28 days of your current visa expiration. You'll usually get a decision within 8 weeks. How long it can take depends on the length of your course and what you study and when you've arrived, what time it was you arrived, already completed in the UK. If you're 18 and over, your course is at a degree level, you can usually stay in the UK for up to 5 years. If it's below degree level, you can usually stay in the UK for up to 2 years. You may also be able to expand your visa if you're eligible. For example, to continue your studies in the UK, switch to a student visa from another visa if you're already in the UK, switch to a graduate visa to stay in the UK for at least 2 years after successfully completing your course. When it is appropriate to travel to the UK, you can arrive before the course starts. This can be earlier, up to 1 week before if your course lasts 6 months or less, up to 1 month or before if your course lasts from 6 months or more. You must not travel to the UK before the start date given on your visa, no matter when your course starts. The fees. It costs £490 to apply for a student's visa from outside the UK, £490 to extend or switch to a student's visa from inside the UK, You must pay the visa fees for each person that joins you. The healthcare surcharges are also included in what you must pay for. The course fees. You need enough money to pay for your course fees for one academic year, which would be up to 9 months. The amount you need to pay will be on your confirmation acceptance form, your CAS. The confirmation acceptance for studies is what the CAS is. Money to support yourself, financial requirements. You will need to show you have enough money to support yourself unless you've been in the UK with a visa, a valid visa, for at least 12 months to the date of your application. How much money you need depends on where you'll be studying. You'll need either £1,334 per month for up to 9 months for courses in London, £1,023 per month for 9 months for courses outside London. If you're boarding at a residential independent school, you'd need to pay boarding fees instead. The amount you'd need to pay will depend on your CAS. London means the City of London and the 32 boroughs of London. You'll also have to pay the health care surcharge as part of your application. How much you pay depends on how long your visa lasts. Check how much you'll need to pay before you apply. Your partner and children. You may be able to bring your partner and children, your dependents. You can and cannot do these things listed below. You can study, work as a student on union sabbatical, as a union sabbatical officer. You may be able to work. How much depends on what you're studying. You may be able to work. How much depends on what you are studying and where you're working in or out of term. You can study, work as a union student. What you can and cannot do. You can study, work as a student union sabbatical officer. You may be able to work. How much depends on what you're studying, whether you're working in or out of term time. You cannot claim public funds, benefits, and pension. Work in certain jobs, for example, as a professional sports person or sports coach. Be self-employed, study at an academy or a local authority-funded school, also known as maintained schools. If you apply and your application is successful, you'll be told what you can and cannot do on a student visa. You cannot claim public funds, benefits, and pension. Work in certain jobs, for example, as a professional sports person or sports coach. Study at an academy or a local authority-funded school, also known as maintained school. If your application is successful, you'll be able and you will be told what you can and cannot do on a student visa. Apply online. You must apply online for a student visa. Apply outside the UK. As part of your application, you'll need to prove your identity. How you do this depends on whether you're from and what type of visa you have. Apply outside the UK. As part of your application, you'll need to prove your identity. How you do this depends on where you're from and what type of passport you have. You'll either give your fingerprints and a photograph, biometric information, at a visa application center. Use the UK Immigration ID Check app to scan your identity documents. You'll also create or sign into your UK Visa and Immigration account, the UK VI. You'll be told what you need to do when you apply. Once you've started your application, you can start and save your form and complete it later. Documents you'll need to apply. When you apply for your student's visa, you must provide a current passport or other valid travel documentation, a confirmation of acceptance for studies, a CAS form for your course provider. You may also need to provide proof of how much money you have to support yourself and pay for your course. This will vary depending on your circumstance. You may also need to provide proof of how much money you have to support yourself and pay for your course. This will vary depending on your circumstances. You also might need to provide proof of how much money you have to support yourself and pay for your course. This will vary depending on your circumstances. A valid ATAS certificate, if your course and nationality requires it. Proof of parental or other legal guardian consent, if you are under 18. Proof of your relationship to your parent or guardian if you are under 18, your tuberculosis test results, written consent for your application from your financial sponsor if you are receiving sponsorship for your course fees and living costs in the last 12 months. You'll need a blank page in your passport for your visa if you need to give your biometric information, fingerprints, and a photograph at a visa application center. You'll be told if you need to do this when you apply. If you're under 18, you'll need written consent from both parents or legal guardian, or one parent if they have sole responsibility. This must include their consent for your visa application, your living and care arrangements in the UK, your travel to the UK. You'll also need to provide a copy of your birth certificate or other government-issued document that shows the names of your parents. Please subscribe and like my video. If you have not and you're new here, remember, share, like, and subscribe. I hope all information will help someone who is trying to apply to come to the UK to study but don't know where to start. In order to get a visa, hope this information helps you. Please email me if you need more information. Bye-bye.